Hey everyone, welcome back to 12 Days of Spring with Daisy and Christy. We are moving right along with 10 glistening raindrops, and I am going to take this idea and turn it into the layout that I have been struggling to scrap for a year and a half now. You've seen me grab it quite a few times to do, and I just have never found the right way to do it, but today I do. So my plan here is I found this pattern paper from Amy Tan, and I believe it's called On a Whim, and there are raindrops on it, so I'm thinking, perfect, I'm going to use these. I'm going to use both sides of this pattern paper so there's a hint of color as well, and this is my starting off point. My goal was to fussy cut out all of the raindrops. You're going to see me do that, and find a cloud that's going to work with it, and use that to kind of be my starting off point and where to go with it. And that's really all I had. I didn't have anything else. I was just kind of going with that. I liked the layers of this. So the nice thing about this photo is it's a black and white photo. And so popping it with a little bit of that reddy pink color along with the blue really helps to kind of, it works. It blends in, but it pops at the same time, if that makes sense. So I'm there. I am not exactly sure where else I want to go with it. I'm trying to definitely make the raindrops and everything be symbolic. And starting with that, this layout turns into there's a whole bunch of different symbolisms and meanings to every little thing that I do. So I'm going to explain them all as you watch it. This process is a little bit longer than normal. I kept everything in that I've recorded. I didn't take anything out. A lot of times I edit things out. For example, you're seeing me put all of these little raindrops down. None of them make it on this page. I do put them on and then I cover them up. So, but I like them and I was trying to get them used up. I'm never going to use them in another way. They don't get used up, so they're actually just going in the trash, and I'm fine with that because how often am I really going to use raindrops unless it's using it for the pattern paper itself? Not going to happen. So I got this down. I'm thinking about fussy cutting this all out. I end up just doing the larger ones. When I went to go ahead and do the smaller ones, they were too small, too delicate, I didn't want to have to glue them all down. So I changed my mind and just decided to go with the larger ones. I found another one that had the dual raindrop with it, so I could help with that as well. I then went into this beautiful pattern paper. This is from Pink Paisley, and this is the Paige Evans. I think it's Turn the Page, but I really like the combination of that teal and yellow, so I'm going to go ahead and use that to back my cloud and have a little pop of color there. You're going to see I end up adding 3 pops of color on my layout in of course, everyone say it with me, visual triangle, because that's what I do. The very last one actually gets added at the end because I was struggling with what was wrong with my layout, and when I sent it to Daisy and was like, is something missing? And she's like, maybe a pop of color down at the bottom. I'm like, oh yes, that's what it is. So you're gonna see me do that. I am also fussy cutting out some things here. Turn the Page is all about exactly that. Like you're turning the page on a chapter in your life, you're moving on to something, all about that. I think she created this when she was moving back to the States from when she was in Germany, right? So I think that's when she was creating this layout. So it was about her family turning a page to a new chapter in their life and stuff like that. So a lot of these things are very fitting for something like that. And of course, this layout is talking about, this photo was taken moments before he had a final evaluation. He was having he had a swollen lymph node, and so he had taken medication for it, and they were making sure that all the fluid had gone down and he wasn't going to need more like, I don't know, surgery or anything like that. And while she was talking to me and asking questions and everything, all of a sudden the lady goes, I'm not exactly sure, but she asked me if his eye contact was always the way that it's like, if he always had really bad eye contact. And I'm thinking to myself, like, he's a year and a half old. I mean, I don't know. I think he's 2 maybe in this photo. I'm like, I don't know. He's just my son. This is what he does. I have no idea. I don't really pay attention like that much. And she's like, I'm pretty sure he's autistic. And just blurted it out of nowhere. I wasn't prepared for it. Nothing. And I was just like, excuse me? Like, I just started bawling, instantly started crying. And she like gave me her card and was like, we'll follow it up. And I was like, well, I'm never, ever talking to you ever again. Thankfully she was a doctor at the hospital and it wasn't my family doctor or anything like that. But wow. I don't work in the medical field. I work in the dental field, but that was definitely not the way to go about it. And so that started the process that we took in the steps of getting him evaluated. He went and saw my family doctor, and from there he saw the pediatrician, and from the pediatrician he went and had his final evaluation that actually just concluded this month, and he has his official diagnosis. So he is indeed on the autism spectrum. Very, very low. He's very high functioning. They're saying even like 5 years ago, he probably wouldn't have been put on it. But nowadays they do that so that they get the help and the therapy that they can get. And then apparently, which is something I didn't know, you can have a second follow-up. So in 2 years, he'll have another review like he did being officially diagnosed. And if they see improvement and whatnot, and they think that he can be, and if we choose to be, we can actually ask for the diagnosis to be retracted, and he loses all the funding and all the help for the therapy and stuff, but he doesn't have the label, which is, I think, sometimes a big sticking point for some people, right? For us, I think we are going to keep it until he is of age, and at 18, if he feels like he doesn't want it or he doesn't need the help, he can proceed to deal with it how he so chooses. I do believe that's how we're going to go about it. Anyway, so that is my big long story. There have been pieces about it throughout my scrapping and my life. I had a really long video about it right as it happened back in the fall of 2016 where I'm bawling my eyes out talking about it. So if that's something you want to go back and check out, you're more than welcome to go look at that. And yeah, I kind of gave a few updates about it here and there, but this is where we're at with him. And so I have had this photo and have wanted to document the story on how it all started for a very long time, but it's hard, right? It's not that it's a hard event, but it was life-changing, right? This whole thing has shifted our life a little, and not in a bad way, but it's definitely changed. And so I've really struggled to create this layout and be able to document my feelings. And so I'm so happy to finally be in a headspace where I can do this. And so, like I said, lots of symbols in this. To start with, the clouds, is kind of like the cloud, and the raindrops is like, it just, I don't know. It was just such a big shock to us, and a little gloomy at first, right? And then I decided to use this beautiful pattern paper from the Little You collection that I've kind of been hoarding to use for quite a while, and I've turned it into a sunburst. So it's like the sun shining through the clouds, and there's light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, and all of that. So that's the first two things. I backed Jackson's photo with a pattern paper, but behind it is a puzzle piece, which I'm sure everyone knows, but just in case you don't, the puzzle piece is the symbol and kind of known to stand for autism. Along with the colors, there are multiple colors. I do believe like royal blue is just the official color that a lot of people use. I'm not really sure. I'm still very new to this, of course. But so I use the puzzle piece, and then behind it I have a glossing bag so I can put all of my journaling, because this is definitely something I don't want just anyone reading. I don't care. You can pull it out and read it if you so choose to, but a random person going through my layouts, maybe it's a little too heavy of a subject to read if you're not prepared for that. So I am going to do it hidden for hidden reasons. But yeah, so I really love that puzzle piece idea and having it there, but it's very, it's just kind of there. It's not a big part of the layout. I've used the same color tones so that it all kind of blends into each other. And I really, really liked that. That's another symbol. And then I'll show you the very last one when you see my final photo, because it's hiding in I don't add it on camera. For my title, I'm using the word different, not less, because that is something that is a big deal, right? Autism is not a scary thing. It's not it's having a disability isn't bad. And the world makes it so, but it's not. And so it's just opening up everyone's eyes. And so that's why my title is like that. It's just, I just wanted it to be what it was, because he's still our Jackson and we still love him to pieces. And I don't want him to ever think that with this diagnosis, that he's any different than he ever was. So as to the title there, I'm showing you how I put tape around that bag. And so that way I can slide in my journaling when I'm ready into that. So I'm just showing you how I did that there as well. And I love this. So like I said, super symbolic, a really hard layout to scrap, but I'm really happy that I got it done. I love the tone on tones. This is such a Jackson layout to me with the colors that I've chosen to use. I love to use teals with him, and this is basically all teal, but I wanted the pops of color. So I add it with the raindrops, and then I'm going to put clouds down at the two photos, the smaller photos of Jackson down there, and they're very colorful as well. And then I'm thinking about using the word start here. It says start here and never quit, because this was our starting point in the journey that he was. And the clouds again are supposed to represent there's going to be hard times with it, but then the sun, representing there's always going to be light at the end of the tunnel. So that's not a big deal. I add the bottom little strip there. And then you can see I'm thinking, oh, wait, that needs more. So there you see, I put the start there. I add a few triangles as well. And then in my final photo, what you'll see is I add a little lemon, because as we all know that saying, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So we are making the best of this situation that was given to us as a family, and we are embracing it because it's an awesome journey to be on, and we're excited to accept it. So there you have it. That is my layout. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please let me know. Go check out Daisy's take on this fun layout. Hers is very different, but it's very beautiful. So make sure you go check it out as well. And thank you so much for watching. We will be back tomorrow with day 11. I cannot believe we're on to 11 already. 2 more days left to go on this series. I am trying to think about highlighting that in black. That doesn't happen though. I choose not to do it. There is my finished layout, everyone. Thanks so much, and I'll be back tomorrow. Bye.